Hi, I'm reading a PowerPoint that a few of my classmates and myself made for a article summary, and it is on the literacy outcomes of children with early childhood speech sound disorders and the impact of endophenotypes. So our hypothesis is that if endophenotypes are influenced by genes, then childhood speech sound disorders and later developing language impairments and or reading disorders will be demonstrated. So endophenotypes link genes to measurable and observable characteristics. In the case of the study, the endophenotypes are SSD, LI, and RDs that are being genetically analyzed. So, in order to take part in the study, all of the participants had to meet the following qualities. They had to bilaterally pass a hearing screening at 20 decibels. They must have a normal IQ score of at least 80, as seen by the Wechsler preschool and primary scale of intelligence, and they had to pass an oral speech mechanism screening exam. They also must have a Goldman-Fristow test of articulation score below the 10th percentile, and they must have a minimum of 4 phonological processing errors and a 3 to 4 on the severity scale, based off of the Conn-Lewis phonological analysis test. So the methods that were used in this, the pool of data was from 152 proband children that fall between 4 to 6 years old, with moderate to severe SSD, and they must be referred by an SLP. 105 programs were followed through school, ages 7+, and then reassessed. 47 probands lost to attrition. All siblings of the program children were invited to take take part as well, meaning that there were 256 siblings. They were assigned to a typically developing or SSD group. The design of the test is based off of a longitudinal pre and post test. There's a pre-early childhood assessment and a post-school age assessment. There's an SEM analysis performed on the probands and siblings. So there's a population of 408. The baseline data is based off of those 408. The following assessments were then performed. So the assessments were split based off of how old the child was during the time of the study. So if you were between 4 and 6 years old, you received an oral motor skill assessment, a phonological awareness, phonological short-term memory test, a vocabulary test, and a speeded naming test. If you were older than 7 years old, you went through a reading, decoding test, a spelling test, and a written expression test. So we had 3 points that summarize the results from the study. There is a link between SSD and the chromosomes numbered 1, 3, 6, and 15. The phenotypes with genetic links to SSD are measured and seen on chromosome 1, GFTA, chromosome 3, PCC, and chromosome 15, GFTA and PCC. The final point for our results is that the SEM analysis shows that the endophenotypes were linked to SSD and LI with school-age children. So to wrap up the entire PowerPoint and to summarize what the study showcases, the researchers observed the following endophenotypes: phonological awareness, phonological memory, oral motor skills, and expressive vocabulary. Based on the study's results, we can summarize that there is a genetic linkage of endophenotypes can be an early indicator of SSD, which can later evolve into a language impairment or reading disorder. With the evidence found through the genetic analysis, researchers confirmed their hypothesis and can conclude that there is a genetic influence on spoken language skills. These research advancements can allow for early intervention and treatment approaches, which can aid in the prevention of atypical development. So based off of the study, this leads to further things, and someone can cite the study to add on to their own research. The implications of this, the findings show that shared endophenotypes and common genetic influences affect early childhood SSD and later school age literacy. The genes for SSD may influence a multiple endophenotypes, and these are oral motor skills, phonological awareness, phonological memory, processing speed, and expressive language. The link between these two can impact the practice of SLPs by allowing earlier identification for SSD, which can lead to earlier intervention. So this relates to our clinical practice in that these breakthroughs have created a breakthrough in diagnosing and identifying SSDs, and health professionals can identify the presence of chromosome mutations in infants at early ages and refer these individuals to SLPs. The SLPs will receive referrals at younger ages, which allows for earlier intervention. And we know that early intervention is the key to prevention. Early intervention can decrease the long-term impairments or effects of a disability by identifying it as soon as possible. There are positives and there are negative aspects from this study. The good things are the early intervention, which can prevent the growth of reading disorders, and it limits the comorbidity. The genetic identification of chromosomes attributes SSD to known origins and causes. Knowing the cause of an SSD can then allow SLPs to identify and treat these children at younger ages. Strict eligibility requirements and ensure findings are not biased due to comorbidity from other known causes of SSD. The more negative aspects of the study are the threats to internal validity of the study. Attrition occurs in test 1. The early childhood group was composed of 152 people. In test 2, the school age group had 105 people. The limitations of the study are that SEM and genetic linkage analysis was not performed on identical data sets. And all of this study lines up with the concepts that are present in the textbook. In 2001, the FOXP2 gene is identified to contribute to SSD. This is located on the 7th chromosome, and there are 5 other chromosomes that are also linked with SSD. Chromosome 1, 3, 6p, and 7, and 15q. And more on the 7th chromosome. This was not mentioned in the study. It is responsible for cell division and growth. It contains genes for taste and smell receptors. The FOXPI is located on chromosome 3p14. The strongest association with SSD as well as ASD and cognitive impairments.